Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, December 16th, in between Celtics games. Another big break here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then they play again on Thursday. But we're here talking Celtics as we always are. Sam, how you doing?
Doing good. Excited for the show today. We have some maintenance stuff to discuss. We have some more speak from Payton Pritchard. Celtics ranked amongst other top franchises across sports. Then we'll go around the NBA standings. We will read your emails, go through some trade rumors, go through some injury updates around the league. Then we'll do the rat list. It's going to be a fun show. You want to stick around, you want to leave a like, you want to comment, and you want to subscribe and hit the bell too, because Jack and I are here every single day. New pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game, and other videos are on the channel on the days in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. But it's going to be a fun show. Stick around.
Yeah, let's start with Celtics trade season because technically the unofficial start to NBA's trade season started on December 15th because that's when most players, who signed deals over the summer are eligible to be traded. And that includes Celtics players Luke Cornett, Xavier Tillman, and Nemish Queta. All are now eligible to be traded this season. None of them probably will be traded this season. It's just a matter of they are now allowed to legally get traded. But it does seem like the Celtics could make a small move here or there, so we can discuss what they could do, what it's likely going to be, stuff like that, and go from there. But yeah, I doubt Cornette, Tillman, or Katie get traded, but technically they now could be traded.
They're officially on the block. Trade watch. Not really. Jack is right. I mean, if you logistically look at the Celtics roster, you have to keep as many big guys on the team as possible because you need that depth. I think that is the most important position on the team in terms of depth, because you have Al, who's just simply 38 years old and isn't going to be able to play every game. And you have Kristaps, who left Sunday's game with a heel injury. He continues to be injured every now and then. And it's good to have insurance for if he gets hurt in the playoffs. You saw last year how important that proved to be. Like, somebody like Luke Cornett stepped in big time and was comfortable playing minutes. Xavier Tillman had minutes in the playoffs, and he had moments where he stepped up, he shined, he made a big shot in the finals. Like, there is value to having guys making slim to the minimum money, and having them be able to step in and play real minutes on your team. Not every NBA team has guys on the roster that can do that. And we talk about it all the time with the new CBA. Like, this is the foundation. Like, this is how you make your team sustainable. This is how you have star players who make the max deals. You can afford to pay them and still have a winning team because you have the right pieces around them. Take a look around the NBA. A team like Phoenix last year struggled despite having 3 max players, despite making a big swing in the summer for Bradley Beal, because one, those guys couldn't be healthy. And because they couldn't be healthy, they didn't have the guys who were ready to step in when the time came. And even when they are healthy, they don't have the greatest supporting cast. There are several teams around the league that are like this. Denver's another one that are just playing Jenga with their team. Having people like Luke, Nemi, and X are super important to success. And that's why I don't think they should trade any of them. I don't really see anything that they would get back in return for these guys that would make it worthwhile. Like, yes, you have a surplus technically, but like, you don't really have a need that you need to fill to capitalize on that surplus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tillman's probably the most likely to get traded of any of them. I still don't think it's very likely, just because, I mean, I'm a little biased, but I don't think it's time to give up yet. I know you and Cam talked about it after the game last night as well, but it just doesn't seem like trading him would be conducive to the long-term future. That said, unfortunately, the guy who probably is the top candidate to get traded is Jaden Springer, who I know you're very fond of, but at this point, it almost seems like
So you took the braids out?
writing in the wall. Yeah,
Little
it
pro.
almost feels like I'd be more surprised to see Springer in Celtics green past the deadline than not at this point.
That's interesting. I see why. I mean, Chris Forsberg did a great write-up on this on NBC Sports Boston, breaking down who's eligible to be traded now, what the likely trade moves the Celtics could make are, explaining the restrictions that they have because of the new CBA. If you're curious, go check there, or if Jack has written something, go read Jack's. it's important for everyone to be educated on this. But Forsberg writes, still Springer's contract might be Boston's most agreeable pathway to acquiring a player making more than a minimum contract. The Celtics do have a batch of second-round picks to help facilitate deals. The difficulty is waiting through the roughly 183 players who make $4 million or less. It just kicked me out of that tab. But essentially, the point is, it's not going to be easy for the Celtics to make any sort of deal. There are, however, a few intriguing names around the NBA, Jack, that perhaps you are looking to even further add depth at the big man spot. What if you added Celtics great Daniel Tice on a minimum deal through trade?
You could. He fits for sure. I mean, I've been going through, as Chris Forsberg so aptly put it, the 100 and X names that could technically be traded for, and like tab clicking some of them into different tabs so I can go over some options based on what teams might be willing to make a trade, what players might not be worth enough. Because I do think there are two ways for the Celtics to approach this. There is the Daniel Tice approach, where it is, let's get a veteran in here we know could play minutes if we want to have a different look. I don't think Daniel Tice makes a ton of sense. I think they have Luke Kornet and Nemish Kid. I don't think there's a pathway for Tice to play minutes, and so I don't think it would be worth it for the Celtics to make that deal. And then there is the pathway that they did last year, where it is, let's bring in a couple of semi-young players that we can take a chance on, see what they look like, and if they pop, great. If they don't, they don't. I.e. Springer and Tillman, because at this point in the Celtics, future long-term plans, whatever, you need to be taking swings. You need to be bringing in guys who you think could be part of the future. And even if you're not bringing in guys who you think can be part of the future, you should be bringing in guys who you think could play minutes, i.e. Xavier Tillman last year literally played minutes in the finals. That was a useful trade. And so I've put down some names. I know the other two names that are on the sheet here that Forsberg mentioned, unless you put this in here. Was this you or
No, that was
Forsberg?
Forsberg.
Okay. Tice, Javonte Green as well as Gershon Yabusele, because the Sixers season is gone to crap. So those are three names that aren't too bad. I don't hate any of them. Yabusele's been pretty good, and he is not young enough to where I think the Sixers would be desperate to cling on to him, especially considering how rough their season is going so far. So I don't hate any of those names. Of them, I probably like Yabusele the best. But he's more apt to play the 5, and so maybe you go over to Javonte Green, but he can't spread the floor. I don't know how into if I'm the Celtics, I think I would rather do let's see if we can get somebody on a multi-year deal to extend the window to where we can trade or have guys available on the roster.
I feel like that's really the game now, is just making sure you have as much available cap to move around as possible, because once you start to lose cap slots, they don't reappear, not in the current form. The Celtics are over the cap. It's not like people wanted them to let I want to say they wanted to let somebody like Marcus walk, like it was Grant. It was Grant. That's what it was. And it was like, let Grant walk. I mean, they did. But to me, it never made sense, because that's not money that they could just take and go somewhere else and spend somewhere else. You're not going to get like free cap back. So Jack makes a great point, where if you can just get somebody who's going to come in and possibly be someone that takes up cap for you, it's good. But on the contrary to that, they could trades or keep Springer and extend him, and then he would be on a multi-year deal with a, minimum or near minimum salary that they could continue to trade.
It's true. They technically could do that. It's just a matter of, do they like Springer enough to do that, or whatever. I have a bunch of guys that I found on this list that could potentially fall into the category. Again, all of these are very much maybe ideas. None of them are, this is definitely going to happen. None of them are, I think the Celtics should do this. All of them are just, these are guys the Celtics could technically trade for based on the salaries and what I have looked at. So
let's rank them.
Okay, fine. Do you want I don't want to put a tier list together right now, but you can list them in a rank if you would like to.
I'll put it on the sheet somewhere.
Sure,
so
that's fine.
I can reference it.
Jalen Hood-Schifino is on the Lakers. This is not a let's take a chance on this guy, unless the Celtics like him. If the Celtics like him, maybe take a chance. But he makes 3.8 this year, then 4.06, and then he makes 6.2. So if you really want to have a salary to trade, that'll carry over nicely. I don't know if the Lakers want to do it. This seems like an unlikely situation because the Lakers probably want to include him in a larger deal as a salary filler so they can get to a higher number because they can combine salaries because they're a
So
first
you
paper
can get
team.
everybody.
Yeah, so I don't think that is likely. So that is an option. I don't think the Lakers would be too interested in that. Next one is Kevin Love, who's on the Heat. I don't know what the Heat are doing. If they trade Jimmy, maybe they do a mini fire sale. Maybe they just want to keep Kevin Love, but he is under contract for this year and next year. I think my tabs are freaking out, so I can't exactly see right now.
Praying for you.
3.85 this year, 4.1 next year. So you'd extend that and you'd have a veteran under contract. Again, I don't think the Heat are itching to trade Kevin Love, so that's probably a little unlikely, but it is an option. Next one is Dalen Terry. He's on the Bulls. I'm going to check how much he's playing for the Bulls this season. My computer's not cooperating though. He's played in 25 games this year. No, it's fine. He's played in 25 games this year, 13 minutes a game. So he is getting some decent runs. So maybe they don't want to trade him, but he is under contract for this year and next year. So it is just another case of, okay, we'll have 3.5 this year, 5.4 next year. Maybe the Bulls don't want him. We attach Jaden Springer with the second round pick. We extend the salary and we have Dalen Terry. So there's that.
Okay.
Cody Zeller is on the Hawks. He makes 3.5 this year, then 3.6, then 3.8. Very small contract. I think it's unlikely because you already have so many bigs. What's the point? You might as well just get something different. And I don't know if they'd want to extend the salary to 3 years. I think 2 years this year, next year is sort of the sweet spot. And then after that, you get into the let's take a chance on some young guys portion of the programming. Dariq Whitehead is not playing for the Nets right now. He is 20 years old. Maybe you liked him. He was a first round pick in 2023, 22nd overall. I don't know how he's playing in the G League. I could look it up. But he is just a young guy who is under contract, a cheap contract. If the Celtics liked him in the draft, like they liked Jaden Springer last year or Xavier Tillman or whatever, maybe it's okay. We don't hate this guy. If we can bring him in for cheap, let's do it. He's 6'6". He went to, I don't know where he went to college. I feel like it should tell me right here somewhere. Duke. He was at Duke, so maybe it's a Tatum thing. I don't know if he's gotten G League run. Let's see. Does he play in the G League? I'm searching through. Oh my God, he's been sent on the G League so many times. No, he hasn't played in the G League this year. He played in the G League last year for a few games. He was all right. Didn't shoot the ball too well, but he's another guy. Johnny Juzang, he's actually been playing this year. He's played 17 minutes a game in 20 games for the Jazz. So maybe they don't want to give him up, or maybe they're willing to give him up for a couple seconds, but they just extended him. So he's on a longer term deal. So that's maybe a name you want to look at. A name that wouldn't be a long-term help, nor is he young, but if they like him and the Heat are doing a fire sale thing, Josh Richardson has been hurt a little bit this year, but he has been playing a ton regardless. So if you want to bring back a friendly face, he hasn't played too well this year, but if you want to bring back a veteran, he technically works just from a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
Shake Milton is making 16 mil. I think the Nets will be open, or sorry, he's playing 16 minutes a game. He's making
like 16 million. Wait, what?
No, he's making like 3 mil. But he's shooting really well this year. He's shooting 39.6% on 2.3 attempts a game. I don't think anybody on the Nets is untouchable. I think if you threw Jaden Springer in a second at them, they'd be willing to trade Shake Milton, and Shake Milton hasn't been bad. He's under contract for this year, and then 2 years after this, 3 mil and 3.3 in the 2 years following this year. So he is 28, though, so he's not young, but he's shooting all right. Trendon Watford has played 16 minutes a night for them. He's only under contract this year, though. Again, just another Nets guy who will probably be available. Going back to the Hawks, I don't know what they're looking to trade or who they're looking to trade. But Vic Krejci, who killed the Celtics last year, if we want to continue the trend of Brad trading for guys who played really well against him, makes 2.1 this year, then 2.4, and then 2.7, and then 3 mil in a team option. So he's under contract for a long time. He's played in 13 games this year. He's a bigger body. He's 6'8". Sure. Right. And then you get into the Gershon Yabusele, Daniel Tice, PJ Dozier is another guy, and then Duop Arith is under contract this year, next year. So just some names to keep an eye on as the Celtics go about their business. That said, more than likely, and maybe the thing that I think they should do the most, Just trade Jaden Springer to a team with cap space, maybe the Pistons, and sign Drew Peterson to a standard contract. It is so much easier than trading for any of those guys. I think Drew Peterson has proved worthy of a standard contract, and it would definitely be one of the cheapest options as well. Sign him to a multi-year deal, whatever you want to do. I think that's the pathway the Celtics should go. But yeah, that's it.
So I think that some of these guys are intriguing names. You have to remember, I don't think the Celtics are going to add anybody that's a rotation piece. That's just not going to be the case. Their
No.
rotation is rock solid. I don't think there's anybody on the Celtics that I would like to see lose minutes. I was actually talking to Cam about this last night. Like, thinking about watching a team where Jordan Poole is playing, and you're just like, wow, this guy is like insufferable to watch. He is not about winning. Like, he's very difficult to root for. Like, the Celtics don't have those guys. You don't have somebody that comes in the game, maybe Nemi, but even he has like guys that he's competing for minutes with. So like, I don't know. And I don't think Nemi's like a dickhead. He just makes mistakes. And like, I think he is the lowest floor of the guys that get real minutes. That being said, maybe if you like Kevin Love to come in and give you a little bit of a different look in terms of a big guy that can come in and shoot a little bit, it might be nice. I don't know if you're really looking to bring in another old forward big man that isn't going to be able to play every day. Like, it feels a little counterproductive. I like Josh Richardson. I was a fan of him when he was here. With that being said, he has been injured. I don't know if he's going to be the kind of guy that comes into this team and is able to actually contribute. I just don't think it happens. But he is an energetic defender, and I think that could benefit the team off the bench. He's not the greatest three-point shooter. Shake Milton is the one that kind of separates himself from the rest of the list, because when I think of him, I'm like, little bit similar to Lonnie Walker in terms of the skill set. The thing that you would ask him to do if he came into the game is shoot threes and create a little bit and be a spark guy off the bench in games where you don't have everybody playing on the Tatum Brown rest days. Maybe he's the guy that comes in and gives you a little bit of a boost. But even then, I just like what we've seen from Boston's bench so much. And I agree with you that Drew Peterson has earned himself a real contract. I think he's been nothing but solid when he's gotten minutes this year. He's done what he's asked. He's showcased a versatile game where he can do a handful of different things and they can kind of plug and play him. Unlike a lot of these guys on this list, like everybody on this list, you look at it and it's just like, either very raw or established, but for a very niche skill set. You don't really have that with Drew Peterson. Like, he's able to distribute, he's able to shoot the ball, he's able to create a little bit. He has shown that he's willing to work on the glass. Like, I like him to fit into this team. He's been around this team. He was a part of the championship run last year. Like, I think that all means something too. So I'm in favor of that. I'm in agreement.
I need to take a quick break in the action here to talk to you guys about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. If you are familiar with the channel, How About Them Celtics, you know that Sam and I use Prize Picks on the pregame show all the time. Going into Celtics games, we love picking the more on Jason Tatum points, the more on Derek White blocks, the more on Payton Pritchard, everything this season, and the more on opposing player turnovers. That's the fun one for us. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. Join now, because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. And you can now win up to 1,000 extra money on Prize Picks. Let me rephrase that for you guys. 1,000 extra money on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Yeah, I think that's my sorry, I hit the mic. That's my top option. I think that makes the most sense for the Celtics and Drew Peterson. I think he has, like you said, proven himself. He's played well this year. I like Johnny Juzang a lot. I think he's a high volume 3-point shooter that can fit into a good role. I also think the Jazz like him, though, so I don't think they're going to trade him unless you throw like a few seconds at him, and maybe you like him enough to see if they're willing to do that. I don't hate Derek Whitehead. I don't think he is somebody the Celtics would be interested in. He hasn't really proven himself to be a legitimate 3-point shooter at any level, and so I don't think they're going to take that type of chance on him unless they really believe that they can turn it around. But he wasn't a great 3-point shooter in the G League. He was actually a great 3-point shooter in college. He shot 42%, but only on 3.5 a game. So maybe they look at that and say we can turn it around because he has good size. He's 6'6". He's a big guard slash forward who can make stuff happen. But I don't really see it too much. I don't think Jalen Hood-Schifino makes sense because I don't think that the Lakers are going to trade him away for much, and then the rest of these guys or whatever. So I think Drew Peterson's the top of my board unless Johnny Juzang is available, and even then, I still think it's smarter to just convert the guy about. So that is Celtics trade season recapped to a point. So I mean that's all you're getting for a while unless something happens. Next thing. A fun Celtics 3-point statistic that you put on here that I just am seeing as I was doing this. What is this?
So, HP Basketball on Twitter, Matt Moore posted out this chart graphic of. We had a podcast last week, Jack, where we were talking.
Noted Celtics hater Matt Moore.
the crybabies of
Sure.
They shoot too many threes, they're ruining the NBA, etc. We kind of touched on this. We didn't have the exact metrics, but we did say like the great thing about what Boston does with the threes is they kind of strong arm teams into having to keep up and try and play their game, even if they're not comfortable doing so. And this chart shows the sheer math win that each team has in every game. And the Celtics are above and beyond the rest of the teams. It's not even close. They average an additional 10 points a game. The next closest is Phoenix at 6.6. 10 points a game just on the math. That's a pretty big difference.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is what's been happening all season. They take a ton of threes and people hate it, but it wins them games, and there's no denying that it wins them games. So
it's also
I don't
funny.
think they're gonna change. What
if you look at the 0 mark and you go to the right, which is where it becomes negative? There's only 2-3 teams that are. Well, I guess Cleveland is there. I miss them. But Cleveland and Denver and Indiana and Dallas are all here. Atlanta too. Of those teams, I think people really respect Denver just because they won 2 years ago. Cleveland is being built up as the other team in the East right now. And the rest of these teams are not competitive. Like there's several
Warriors.
non-contenders. Warriors have been asked for they've been horrible. The Hornets are there, Toronto, Miami, Washington, Lakers, Pistons.
Sure. But I do think it's like it is a larger split of teams trying to be competitive / in the playoff race versus not.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is like there's far more teams that are just not legitimate teams.
I get it, but I also think you don't see. If I had to ask you who were the legitimate teams, I think you'd list off like 2 teams, maybe 3.
I would list
the Celtics and the Thunder, and then
I would list those.
I don't believe in Cleveland. The Nuggets haven't been good this year.
I would still list Denver out of respect.
Okay, so they're on.
I think I would put Milwaukee there. Like I think they are or New York. So I'd probably say it's tough to like be like I think these teams can beat the Celtics. Like I don't think they can beat the Celtics, but like if they get a break, like where someone on the Celtics is hurt, like I think they would still be able to compete with some of these teams in the West. So that's kind of where I fall on that. But you're right. Like my list is very short.
It is funny that the Hornets are here, and I think that just shows how bad their defense is, because Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball are on pace to be the highest volume 3-point shooting duo in NBA history. So it's quite the stat right there. Anyways, next thing. Payton Pritchard talked about his defense after the Celtics win over the Wizards. He wants to be seen as a 2-way player. He said, I really want to be known as a 2-way player. People like to, sometimes I see things that say I'm a defensive liability, and it irks me. Every game we go out and I try to prove that narrative wrong. Me trying to be a competitive 2-way player is something I always strive to be. I can just be known as an elite on-ball player with an elite offensive player and an elite offensive player, then that's a big goal of mine. Just making things tough. People in the league, they're going to hit tough shots. I could play great defense and they could still hit it like they could just like they could do on me. I could hit a tough shot with the person right in my grill. It's just coming back and doing it play after play after play. And by the end of the game, their legs are a little bit tired, so it causes them to miss. That's doing your job. Causing deflections, getting steals eventually. Hopefully, I'll get better at taking charges. I'm not the best at that. It's something I've got to keep working at. But I've got to get better at using my hands and just creating havoc. So Pritchard very clearly working at his defense, and I don't think he's a bad defender by any means. So
No, me neither. I mean, Washington. I mean, listen, it's Washington, but it was still a good game for the Payton Pritchard defense camp, except for the play where he got dropped by Jordan Poole. But he actually did a great job at getting dropped because he got dropped so bad that Jordan Poole felt the need to taunt, and then he passed up an open three instead of shooting it. So it was actually a really smart play by Pritchard instead of just stumbling just to fall all the way down. Um, in all seriousness, he's displayed the bulldog in him over the last X amount of games. Like, he is taking this seriously. Just like he says in the quote, he's all over guys, he's pushing them around, he's not making things easy. And that's just so valuable for the Celtics off the bench because not only are they getting somebody who brings energy on the offensive side of the ball, every time he comes in the game at home, there's a buzz around the place. Like, people are excited to watch this guy play. And then on top of that, you're getting somebody who's going to work his ass off on defense. And he's always been a worker. Before this season, lots of people were they were aware of, they were privy to the fact that he is going to be on the offensive glass every single opportunity that he possibly gets. He's one of the greatest offensive rebounders inch for inch in the NBA. He had 4 yesterday against the Wizards. He had 11 rebounds in the game. He's somebody who's just willing to do whatever it takes to win games, and that is what it takes to be on a Joe Mazzulla Celtics team and to be a real factor in that rotation. And I think everybody respects him for that. And I think that's one of the reasons why people around here are really starting to gravitate towards him. It's one of the reasons why he's getting so much buzz in terms of the media. It also helps a little bit that the rest of the team is just so elite that the fact that one of their, I don't even want to call him a weak spot, but like one of their more uncertain guys coming into the season on a new contract is exceeding expectations by so much, that helps it too.
yeah, I mean, Pritchard's Pritchard, man. I don't know what else I can say about the guy.
I mean, this guy, I don't know where the story is from. It might have been something that Danny Ainge said on the radio years and years ago, like right when they drafted him. Pritchard was like doing psycho levels amount of training growing up. Like, I remember hearing that he was dribbling in the garage until his hands bled, like that kind of stuff, just all day working. So there's no question that he's a psycho, just like the rest of these guys.
Yeah, he's insane. And I mean, he's reaping the rewards of it now. But last Celtics thing before the email, the Celtics were ranked by Bleacher Report as the 13th best franchise in the top 4 sports of the last 25 years. So as in, I believe it's just hockey, basketball, baseball, football. So they were 13th. Before I tell you the top 12, I want you to tell me the teams you think are deserving to be above the Celtics in the last 25 years.
Patriots.
Okay. The Patriots
won.
I'm trying to find it, but I can't spell Patriots. Yes, the Patriots are number 1 on this list.
Okay.
Number 1 top 4 franchise in the last X amount of years.
I think the Lakers are going to be up there because if it's 25
they
years, they had the 3-peat.
They are too. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So they've won what? 6 titles in that
6.
time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm seeing if I can go in order.
Yeah.
The Dodgers
I can give you the
are up
sport.
there.
The Dodgers are 14. So no.
Oh, they were below them.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, they've only won 2 titles.
They're just always in it. That's what it is. Okay, let's get serious. The Red Sox are up there. They've won 4.
Yep, they're 5th.
They're 5th.
You're overthinking 3 and 4.
The Chiefs.
No. By overthinking, I mean just stick to the sport you know. The Chiefs are 7.
The Warriors.
They are 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Stick to the sport I know. Okay, don't tell me.
I don't think they should be 6. Spurs, yes. Spurs are 3.
Is Miami the other one?
Mm-hmm. They're 4. Yeah.
They had 3. 4 is a little extreme.
They have 3 titles in 7 appearances. The Warriors have 4 titles and 6 appearances.
Spurs.
I guess. The Spurs are 4 titles and 5 appearances in that time. So,
Okay, so we
I
have the
think
top
it's
7.
fair enough. Yes. I don't know if you'll get 8. I wouldn't get 8.
It's got to be hockey.
Yes. It's probably
Is it
right.
Tampa Bay?
No, they're 9.
Is it the Blackhawks?
John Henry.
Oh, the Penguins? Yeah, that makes
Penguins
sense.
are 8. Penguins are 8, Lightning 9, and then you get to football, baseball, football at 10, 11, 12, and then the Celtics
Okay.
at 13.
The Astros are in there.
No. The Astros are 22.
Okay.
So no, they're not.
Stand by. I'm still thinking.
Sure. Great podcasting. We're sick of this.
This isn't bad. People like rankings. It's just seeing if I'm stupid. So you said what? Basketball, baseball, football, or football, baseball, basketball?
Football, baseball, football.
Football, baseball, football. Are the 25 years?
Mm-hmm.
Are the Eagles in there?
No, the Eagles are not on the list.
Okay, good. And good.
Mm-hmm. The football teams are big rivals against each other.
Big rivals against each other.
Yes.
Oh, no. I'm going to wave the white flag because I don't want to hold this up anymore.
Sure. Steelers at 10, Ravens at 12.
I was going to guess the Ravens.
Yes. And then 11 is
team.
the Yankees. 11's the Yankees.
The Yankees?
Yeah. 2
They've
titles.
won once.
Nope.
Oh, I guess. Yeah. Since.
Yep. 2 titles. And then the Celtics at 13 with 4 appearances and 2 titles in that time. So after that is the Dodgers at 14, then the Bruins at 15, then the Red Wings, Packers, Colts, Blackhawks, Giants, Avalanche, Astros, Mavericks, Cardinals, and then Cavaliers. So there you go. That's what you got. Feels like the Cavs are a little low. I guess they did only win once, but I feel like they should probably be above the Mavs. Maybe I'm crazy. I guess because they were really bad in some of those other years. The Cavs have been to 5 titles in the last 25 years, but their regular season record is below 500. That's a crazy stat. They're the only team on this list with a below 500 regular season record in that time.
It's
That's
like
crazy.
a very simple flowchart meme. It's like, is LeBron on the team? Yes. Playoff run? No. Ass. Except for now.
I'm trying to see what the highest regular season record percentage is in the last 25 years. Oh, it's just the Spurs. Yeah, sure. Duh. All right.
It's always going to be close.
No. The Spurs are clear.
No, are they second or third?
No. No. Celtics are 56.7%, but the Spurs are 63.5%, and there's a bunch in between. Like the Steelers, I think, were second.
Oh, I thought we were talking the NBA only.
Packers are in there too. No, I was talking about everybody on the list. Anyways, that was just an interesting thing. I think it's fine. Happy holidays, everybody, from here at How About Them Celtics to you. It's our time to remind you about Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get all your tickets for every event you could possibly go to, especially during the holiday season. Obviously, Sam and I are at Celtics games all the time, but when we're not at Celtics games, we like to have fun. I know Sam's not the biggest Patriots fan, but I'll go to Pat's games with my family. He'll go to comedy shows with his family. So it's always a fun time. I'll share my screen here if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're not, I'll describe it for you because you don't want to miss this. Just look at the popular events in Boston right now. You've got Monday Night Raw, the day I'm recording this. So you missed your last call on that. Make sure to use Game Time. Post Malone's coming to Gillette Stadium soon. Gracie Abrams, Tom Segura. There's everything you could possibly want. I'm going to look at Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, because we're in the holiday spirit here. You can see everywhere you need to see on Game Time. You can look at the cheapest price. You can look by view. You can see anywhere you need to see in the theater. That's my favorite part of Game Time. Anywhere you want to buy a ticket, you can click on it and it will give you the view you're going to get from your seat. And on top of that, it tells you if the deal is super, it tells you if the deal is bad, and it directs you to the tickets it thinks will be the best for you. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, all of that. All-in pricing shows you the total upfront, so there's no surprise fees at checkout. So not only can you see where exactly you're going to sit in the stadium, in the arena, in the theater you're going to go, but you also get to see exactly what you are going to pay. So make sure to use Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. All right, let's go to the email here. Reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. I'll pull it up right here so we can check it out. Got a few emails today to go through. Let's see what y'all got to say. Philip, starting off, a family guy. Fellas, who can deny that Brad is pulling the strings behind the scenes? He may be a family guy from Indiana, but he reminds me of another family, a very organized one, the Brad father. So I thought I would start doing production notes that might be, be interesting. One, for Brad Stevens, I had to do something calm and serious. Two, if you young fellas haven't seen The Godfather, you need to soon. I have not seen it. It's RJ, Pete, or Corrales. The first and third are mandatory. There is something of a cultural legend. So many common expressions are quotes from the movies. For example, revenge is a dish best served cold, or it's not personal, it's strictly business. It hurt to write about Marcus Smart and Ime. I'm sure it cut the Brad father to the core. Excuse me. Many of the images are the video recreations of Godfather scenes, like Brad sitting on the couch, or when Missoula is whispering in his ear, or when Brad has a red flower in his lapel. Favorite line in the track, the last one, we can't be stopped by a CBA rule. Every single one I use like a tool. 5 biggest technical obstacles, getting AI to say conciliary, a mafia position of the right-hand man. I want to guess what track is next. I'm working on the video this week. All the best, Phil. Hopefully Pritchard.
It's got to be a Pritchard track.
I would love Pritchard. Let's listen to The Brad Father, though, by Philip.
The strength of the Celtics family lies in its loyalty to each other. We don't have to wipe out everyone, just our enemies.
It was Don Dan brought me into the fold. He told me of an ancient Celtics code. Move silently, but always tip the scales. Constantly comb through all the details, while other GMs just making wishes. Their title hope sleeps with the fishes. Make them respect the dawn of the parquet. Contracts and trades, steer them our way. Celtics, Brad father, deals you can't refuse.
This is fire.
From out of you.
You can do anything, but you never go against the family.
Family, my sole obligation. Every move I make is our preservation. Marcus Smart, I will always reminisce. It's never personal, it's strictly biz. Fired Ime when the trust got cracked. No second chances when you break the pact. With trust, I promoted Joe as my man. Underboss has my ear, loyal right hand. Celtics, Brad father, deals you can't refuse. Volunteering the game from out of you.
Don't ever let some outside of the family know what you are thinking.
I can't wait to use
I know exactly why you got no rings. Undisciplined, GM not pulling strings. Our army executing plans with ease. The Celtics soldiers thick like thieves. Don Joe always pushing players to grind. Conciliary keeps the team aligned. We can't be stopped by a CBA rule. Every single one I use like a tool. Celtics, Brad father, deals you can't refuse. Puppeteering the game from out of you.
This is fire. This might be my favorite one.
I like it.
I'm just such a sucker. Like, I think the Mafia is hilarious. Like, I just think like the way they operate is funny. Like, the cutthroatedness is always funny. the extreme levels that they go is always funny. Like, not in real life, but like I think movies are funny.
I see.
Like the Goodfellas, when then Tommy thinks he's being made, they bring him in the room and they just take him out. He gets whacked.
Mm.
Excellent work.
Applause. Great work, Philip. We appreciate you. Thank you. Next one is also from Philip. When stats are fun, fellas, I was looking at NBA.com. Advanced stat leaders, and some of them were plenty fun. We all know Jokic is the player impact leader, but below are some Boston ones. So some fun Boston ones, I should say. Leading the NBA in offensive rating, Pritchard, 122.6 points. He also has the highest win share per 38, a hair above JT and way ahead of everyone in offensive win share on our team. Payton, Frigid, Spicy, PP, Pritchard. Leading the NBA in net rating, Hauser, Pritchard, White, Cornette. Yes, NBA world. In fact, Sam Hauser doesn't suck on defense. He's number 8 in defensive rating. Leading the NBA in true shooting percentage, Luke Cornette, also 3rd in effective field goal percentage with a 6 offensive rating. The Cornish hen, way more dangerous than you think. I really enjoyed our bench shining in these stats. I remember in 22-23 when people thought our bench sucked in all these games. And all of these same guys are on that bench. Much respect to these guys for their work and determination. Only fools doubt them now. Best, Phil. Luke Cornette's field goal percent or effective field goal percentage is very much helped by the fact that he is like the best free throw shooter in the NBA for no reason.
He's a dog. They need to have him shoot the technicals. He's got ice in his veins. Never forget.
Last email we got today, I believe, from RJ. A tale of two centers. Evening, folks. Watching the Wizards game got me thinking about centers. Over a 3-year period, center A attempted 2.4 as many 2-point field goals as he did threes. Center B, on the other hand, went in the other direction, shooting from distance over a close-in rate at a rate of 1.4 to 1. Centers A and B are Al Horford. Center B is his most recent 3 full seasons in Boston. Center A was his first tour of duty, which began in his 10th season in the NBA. Second center is actually Luke Cornette. Luke is now in his 8th season, and at 29, we all tend to think of him as a finished product. Set screens, works dribble handoff game well enough, provides height and bulk on the inside. Recently, Luke has shown more to his game than just being an affable glue guy. As we look into his Celtics future, both this season and beyond, let's remember that the future is written by the people who put in the work. Be well, RJ, who wants Nemi X and Anton to prosper too. Interesting. I don't know if Luke will shoot threes eventually, but he definitely can. So we'll see if that gets part of his game again moving forward. He's also just not nearly as quick as Al, so I think that's important to note as well. All right. Let's go to the NBA here. Check in with the standings, what's been going on around the league, as well as some games that have occurred since we last spoke. Starting with the standings. I can't change to the NBA section if you want to do that.
I will do it.
StreamYard. So Cavs still atop the East at 22-4. Celtics right game behind 21-5. And you got the Knicks, Magic, Heat, Bucks, all of whom are above 500. Hawks also above 500 in 7th. Pacers, Bulls, Nets rounding out the play, and then Pistons, Sixers, Hornets, Raptors, Wizards. In the end, that is pretty similar to what we've seen before. Out west, Thunder 3 games above the pack at 20-5. Then you got the Grizzlies and Rockets and Mavs in a little clump. Nuggets, Suns, Wolves, Warriors, Clippers, Lakers rounding out that play-in mix. Spurs, Kings right outside it. And then Blazers, Jazz, Pelicans are just the bottom feeders at this point. So that's what we got.
Yeah, a lot of teams starting to kind of show you who they are. A lot of teams might be the same team. 6 through 10 in the West. Very similar. Very, very much can't really get anything going. Hovering right above 500, but don't really seem to be super serious in terms of threat levels. OKC has been incredible. I'm very excited to see the Celtics play them for the first time on January 7th. It'll be a Sunday afternoon, so it'll be my favorite time of day to watch a game too. I love a 3:30 afternoon matinee. What we've got here is the Celtics finally creeping up. Are they going to take the top spot soon? I would sure like it if they did. New York, 7-3 in their last 10, starting to look a little bit more serious. Orlando continues to be solid. Miami and Milwaukee are both kind of making their presence known with some quick win streaks. But on Sunday, we had a decent slate of games. The Pacers are starting to find their footing a little bit too. They haven't been fantastic, but Tyrese starting to look like himself a little bit again. He's had 3 of his last 4 games in double digits. He had a 32-point game. He's distributing the ball pretty well. They need him to be his best in order to be competitive. They were a lot of fun to watch last year. They were even better once they got Pascal at the deadline. They just haven't been able to capture it this year after overachieving last year and making the conference finals. But maybe they'll be back soon. Then The Knicks, they beat the Magic. They managed to survive a Mo Wagner 30 ball, 32 points from Mo Wagner. It's surprising when you see something like that happen against a team that isn't the Celtics. It's actually kind of relaxing. Apparently, Magic fans, as well as Jamal Mosley, were not thrilled with the free throw situation, to which Knicks fans were saying, well, maybe don't try and start a brawl, which is on brand for Mo Wagner.
That tracks. I believe that.
Minnesota beats San Antonio. San Antonio remains at 500. Wemby remains incredible. He almost had a triple-double yesterday. 7 blocks.
Yeah.
The 7 blocks were the third stat that was close to 10. Minnesota continues to be very mid outside of Anthony Edwards. Julius Randle's the only guy that is scoring above 15 points a game. He's around 20. The rest of the team is all like 12, 11, and just even worse. They really need to find somebody who's going to be another option there. You would have hoped DiVincenzo would give them a little bit more than he has, and it's probably a big part of the reason why they've just been one of those teams that can't get out of their own way. Phoenix beats Portland, as you would hope that they would. Then maybe game of the night, the Mavs beat the Warriors. This was a fiery game. You had Luka, you had Steph, you had Draymond jawing at Luka, you had PJ Washington doing the night-night celebration. You had 2 teams combining to set the most threes in a game, set the record for that. Nightmare for the fans that hate the three-point shoot.
Made or attempted?
Made.
Okay.
I think they made 48 combined threes in that game, which is a lot. They might have made
That's
more.
it?
I would see.
That's the record?
Yeah.
Celtics are going to break that this season. Easiest record I've ever seen in my life. Are you kidding? Actually,
It can't be that easy. They haven't said it yet.
Threes made in a single game by both teams. Okay, this isn't answering my question. This is showing me.
I'm almost positive that this is true. I'm like 99%.
I believe you. I'm just surprised it's that low. I thought it was gonna be like 60.
Yeah, after the Suns and Jazz tied an NBA record for combined threes made in a single game, 44 on Friday, the Warriors and Mavs just broke it 2 days later. And after the game, PJ Washington went on Instagram and posted the final score to his story and then said, "Belt to ass. Do we have a rivalry? Are the boys in Dallas getting fired up for Clay?"
PJ Washington does that to everybody. That's why I love PJ Washington. That's
Dallas is 37-12 since he joined the team.
He's damn good.
1-6 against the Celtics, 1-5 against the Celtics.
I see. Yeah, and then what else? Last one, Lakers beat the Grizzlies.
LeBron's back from his Diddy allegations hiatus. Did you see that?
No.
So right when he went out with the foot injury, which is definitely true. Like I'm not saying it's not true. He probably hurt his foot. But people were starting to be like, he was saying there's no party like a Diddy party, and all of a sudden he's missing games.
When did he say that?
The conspiracy hats were on for this, but he came back. The Lakers won. AD had a monster game, 40-16 for him. It's really funny to me that people, NBA fans, casual fans, will complain about 3-point attempts when a game like this had 69 combined free throws. It was a free throw fest at crypto.com arena.
Yeah, those games are gross. I don't like those. Not a fan. Yeah. All right. Moving on. Joel Embiid is hurt again. Shocker, right? The Sixers star fractured his sinus. So it sounds like he's gonna be out for a little bit. I don't know if he's gonna play. Maybe he'll wear a mask. As much as you want to rip on him, this is just unlucky.
Yes.
You can't control getting smacked in the face. I haven't seen the clip, so I'm gonna pull it up. This is just the season from hell for the Sixers, because something that's not even on here, Jared McCain tore his meniscus. So he's gonna be out for the season probably. Which, like, as much as Celtics fans can hate the Sixers, you don't want to see guys get hurt. I love Jared McCain. I think he's awesome. I don't love Joel Embiid, but you don't want to see people get hurt either. At some point, this is just the unlucky season. This is the Grizzlies year for the Sixers this year, and I think that's what we're looking at.
If you're the Sixers, what did I say about the Grizzlies last year? You're approaching shut it down territory. Like, if there was any year to be like, we don't want to win games, especially the 76ers, who essentially invented tanking. Like, they made
Top
it
six
cool
protected
to tank.
too.
you tank. Like, this is the year. Go get Cooper Flag if you're Philly. Don't want to see it. Don't want to personally see it. But if they were smart, they would stop trying to win. Oh, this is the hit
play
in the
where,
face?
yeah, he got smacked. He got smacked by
Looking
Mathurin.
brutal.
Yeah, that's tough.
I feel like he has broken his face like more than once too.
I don't think Mathurin meant to, obviously.
No,
that's
he
a foul. you like that's just is a foul.
I don't
sorry.
think this is a foul. I think he was like in the midst of putting a shot back and he didn't do anything with that arm. He just happened to have his arm flexed as he was
doesn't
coming
matter.
down.
If you get hit in the face, intent doesn't matter. If you get hit in the face while you're going up for a shot, it's just a foul.
No, it's not. These guys play defense with their face all the time and they get called for a foul. This is not the same thing as that. I think Mathurin, that is not a foul. Nothing unnatural happens from him.
Unnatural doesn't matter. Intent is not always what matters in a foul. Guys don't mean to foul all the time. It's still a foul. If you hit a guy, it's a foul. It's a foul.
It's not always a foul. If you're a defender and you go vertical, it's not a foul. This is very similar to that, where
that's not vertical.
He's doing a putback. He catches the ball and shoots it.
He catches the ball, puts it back, then puts his arm out after the play, and he hits Embiid. He didn't mean to do it. He was just putting his arm down.
No,
he still hit
didn't.
Him.
He went up and shot the ball. When you shoot, your off arm is flexed. He came down. He physically descended because of gravity with his arm flexed and hit Embiid in the face. That is not a foul. It's just unfortunate that he was hurt.
You got hit in the face. If you get hit in the face, it's a foul.
I disagree.
All right. Next time the Celtics person gets hit in the face, it's a foul. If you get hit in the face, it's a foul. People are gonna hate me for that, but it's fine. The Sixers just unlucky, man. At some point, considering, especially because they get a top 6 protected pick, you got to start considering let's stop winning games because it doesn't look like they're going to be in the playoff mix. I mean, they're 5-5 in the last 10, so they're a little better. But now that even Jared McCain is hurt, it just looks rough for Philly right now.
It looks rough, or it looks really good, depending on what side you're on. If you're on Team Tank, very good things happening in Philly right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. You have to. Oh, I didn't realize the McCain thing and the Embiid thing happened in the same game. That's
a tough night. That's when you put your Eagles hoodie on.
Wait, how soon after was this? So Embiid happened late in the second quarter. McCain happened midway through the third. Jesus, that's bad. Anyways, all right. Next thing, this is from Mark Stein and probably Jake Fisher because both are at the Stein line now. Pelicans fire sale is on. So this is Pelicans are open trading everybody on their roster not named Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Eve Missy. Naturally resistant to trade inquiries for their younger gems, Herb Jones, rookie Eve Missy, and Trey Murphy. Word is that the Pelicans are essentially open to pitches for pretty much everyone else on the roster, apart from those 3 amid a 5-120 start. Did you write this or did they write this?
They wrote that.
They wrote this. I've seen this places. I don't really know why they wouldn't want to trade Herb Jones. I get it, but it's not like he's 23. Herb Jones is 26 years old. How much better is Herb Jones going to get? I forget who I was listening to talk about this. I don't know if it was Front Office Pod or the Dunker Spot or another podcast, but it's not like Herb Jones is massively increased his scoring every season. He averaged 9.5, 9.8, 11, 11.2. He's a phenomenal defensive player. Do not get me wrong, right? Incredible. But if you could get a first or 2 for Herb Jones, I'd do it, right? So I don't know. So Trey Murphy, I think definitely keep Trey Murphy. Amazing scorer, good defender. Awesome player. I think Eve Missy's been really good too, and he's a rookie, so you want to keep him. But I don't know.
So with Herb Jones is on maybe it's tough to say now with Payton Pritchard doing what he's doing. Pretty close to one of the best contracts in the NBA. He's on a 4-year, $53 million deal. He's averaging $12, $13 million a year for his salary. I'm
13,
not saying that the
14,
Pelicans,
15, yeah.
The Pelicans are essentially wasting that good contract. They aren't really going to be able to. Well, maybe if you're the Pelicans and you think that you can get healthy, you hold on to that and you're he's a great role player on a team that's competitive. If I'm the Celtics, I think about this.
Trading for Herb Jones?
Maybe.
Who?
I know you. Does Hauser
You
make the
can't.
money, or is that next year?
Next year, you can't. You'd have to trade
Would you do it or no?
Hauser for Herb Jones? No.
No.
And you couldn't. You'd have to trade Derek White, Porzingis, Holiday, Tatum, or Brown to get Herb Jones.
Yeah, no, then.
Because the Celtics can't combine salaries in a trade because they're a second apron team. And Herb Jones makes I think 11 point something this year, and Horford makes 9.5. And even Hauser next year. Hauser won't make enough to trade for Herb Jones throughout his whole contract based on the way they scale up. That said,
but some team will love that contract.
Sure. But it sounds like they don't want to trade him, and I don't really get that, because I think you could definitely get good stuff for that. Like, you might not want to see it happen, but the Cavaliers, probably a pretty damn good landing spot for Herb Jones. Let's see, another team. I mean, if the Hawks want to keep going all in on this, let's get a bunch of elite long defenders.
Just keep taking guys off the Pelicans.
Yeah, that'd be pretty damn good. If I'm the Mavs, fuck yeah, give me Herb Jones, get another defender next to these guys. If I'm the Rockets and I want to keep stacking this lengthy crap I'm doing, yep, I'm in. If I'm the Warriors, if I'm any team around the league that can make it work, I'm in on Herb Jones. If I'm the Bucks, please God, yes, give me Herb Jones. But it sounds like they don't want to trade him, and I think they should try to leverage it for a first or two, probably two.
This sort of trade is going to become the thing that comes up now at the trade deadline. Like, years past, it was always fun, like, oh, are the Kings going to trade DeMarcus Cousins finally? Or is Andre Drummond going to get traded? Or is Zach LaVine going to get traded, like in more recent years? In the new era of the NBA, those trades are going to be probably off-season moves. They are going to be probably less frequent. And the trades that are going to be really exciting are the ones that are exciting to, like, the cap nerds or the people that are like value nerds, where they're like, well, can you believe this guy only makes $13 million a season? Like, it's more about getting value for your cap slot rather than the big name.
I think that's partially true, but Stein and Fisher, if Herb Jones, Yves Missy, and Trey Murphy, the only Pelicans not available, that leaves Zion, Ingram, McCollum, DeJounte Murray, all of whom I think teams could want. Like, you could see a reason for certain teams to want all of those guys. What'd you say? Welcome back.
I said first lag on this computer. First one.
All right. As I was saying, that does leave a lot of Pelican stars up for trade. Like Zion, Ingram, DeJounte Murray, even CJ, all are guys that they didn't mention them being Stein and Fisher as not available. So that means technically, if somebody made the Pelicans a good enough offer, any of those guys could be on the move. And I do think there is an element to it where obviously some teams want Zion, obviously some teams won't want this player, but like, there's probably teams out there who could be interested in any of those guys. And Ingram especially, like, it's already been established that they're going to extend him or trade him. I don't know how real some of these things were, but Brandon Ingram decline extension. I saw some like numbers out there that Ingram like declined. Yeah, this is from Shams.
I thought they were low. He thought he was getting lowballed, right?
Yeah, Shams said that he declined an extension that would have paid him $50 million a year. But
oh, that's crazy,
sir. I hate to break it to you, brother. You're not worth 54 per year. That was last year. Now it just, yeah, he turned down an extension of $50 million a year in 2023, and then turned down an extension of about $40 million this past offseason. Your number's going in the wrong direction, dude. I don't know what you're doing. That said, I do think there's still teams who could want Brandon Ingram. I do still think there are teams who could want Zion, even CJ, DeJounte Murray, whatever. I just don't know what those teams are. I don't know what teams are itching to trade for those guys. And so I think it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
The Zion piece of this is extremely interesting to me because he has that fat boy clause in his contract where they can just cut him if they don't like the way that he has earned the non-guarantee because he hasn't been in shape. He hasn't been healthy. So
yes,
I think that makes him almost like the weird loophole exception to the rule to my theory on how trades are going to go going forward, where there is actually no risk to this. You have all of the power in this situation. You either get a guy who's going to be committed. You also have a low point that you're buying at where he really is like out of shape. He's not healthy. He's not playing. And there's almost no risk to making this move. So why would you not do it? That's where it becomes super interesting. The Ingram piece of this is also like the opposite. It's a big risk because he has all the power. It's either you're not gonna have to pay a lot for him, I don't think, because the value has been diminished. But he could just up and leave if you don't want to pay him, or you end up paying him too much, which actually might even be worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on, man. It's such a weird situation, and I don't really know what team wants to do what teams would want these guys. I think DeJounte Murray's interesting, but he's been really inefficient this year, 36%, 28%. I do think in a smaller role on a different team, he could be better. I just don't know what it is. I don't know. How many of those top 4 guys do you think get moved this season? I think Ingram probably will, because I don't think they're going to
Ingram is like power ranking number 1. CJ, no shot. It's going to have to be a team that's like it's going to be a salary dump. Like there's no team out there, in my opinion, that should want to pay him that much money.
Sure.
And he's not even making like a crazy amount. It's just like that's
makes
a lot.
33.
Right. And like Derek White just signed an extension worth roughly that a year.
Yes.
I would have Derek White over him 10 times out of 10. Like it's
yeah,
probably a bad example because Derek is so special.
I also think it's like you can't some teams can't afford to have that luxury. Some teams can't afford to have luxury of I'd take Derek White 10 out of 10 because only one team gets to actually have Derek White. And
it's
so
true,
you know what I'm saying?
But you do have the luxury to decide, hey, I don't want this money to be committed here.
Well, yeah, but if you would rather the money be committed there than what your money is currently committed to, if that makes sense, right? Like it's not like CJ is awful, right? It's not like he is Jordan Poole. He's not good, like amazing, but if you have guys under contract that you don't love and you think CJ would make your team better, I don't think it's crazy to think like teams would absolutely hate to have him.
He's under contract for 33 this year, 30 next year. So you're committing at least that. I don't know, maybe if you're a team that thinks he moves the needle for you or you need a veteran presence that can still play, sure. I don't like it for anybody. Zion is one I think could happen. I think Ingram is most likely. Who was the last one? DeJounte?
Yeah.
That would be crazy for him to get turned around that quick from joining the Pelicans. I would still like him. Like his contract isn't that crazy, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to double check on Spot Track. But he's someone who does get hurt a fair amount. He was hurt this year. There's a hand thing. He has a versatile game. We just got an Embiid update. Let's see, from Chris Haynes. Embiid will be out tonight versus Charlotte, and he's going to be reevaluated in a week. That somewhat matters for the Celtics because they play them on Christmas. So would not surprise me if Embiid returns on Christmas. DeJounte is making roughly that same 30 clip, but through the 27-28 season. I would rather pay him than CJ.
Yeah, probably, but DeJounte Murray's been really inefficient this year. I'd rather pay him too. It's just like who wants to trade for DeJounte Murray right now? Who wants to trade for a guard like that right now? Is the thing that I think of.
Give me a minute. I got to think. It's the Jimmy Neutron. Think. If I'm, I don't know how much Phoenix has to offer outside of like as a compensation for eating like a Beal contract, but if I'm Phoenix, I would not mind that. Like if you can convince them to take it as a salary dump and you're like, here's
you'd have to attach stuff for sure. I do have a Windy Fingers what if this happens thing. This is not gonna happen. I'm gonna preface this. This is not going to happen. I don't think in any world this happens. But that's the big but here. Let me add the picks just so it looks correct. To this deal. I'm gonna pull it up so it's nice and pretty for the screen here. I don't know what that did. How does that screen work?
I don't see anything.
Sorry. No. I had to like download the image. I'm on Spot Track Trade Machine. So this is my Windy Fingers that I don't think would happen, but maybe. Here's this. It's a 3-team trade. The Warriors get Jimmy Butler. The Heat get Zion, Kuminga, and Kevon Looney. The Pelicans get Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love, and however many picks they deem worthy of Zion. Now, maybe you throw in a pick, a first rounder. Maybe one of those first goes from New Orleans to Miami. Maybe the Pelicans want more and the Warriors have to give up 3 firsts. I think maybe they could have to give up 3 firsts to get Jimmy Butler. So maybe they give up a 3rd first and that first goes to the Heat. Then the Heat get, I would argue, really good value for Jimmy Butler. Obviously, Zion's a huge risk, but you still get a first and Kuminga who's good and you can extend. The Warriors get Jimmy Butler to compete. And so they'd have Jimmy, Draymond, Steph, Pajemski, whatever they want to roll with. Pelicans get Kevin Love, Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson. That's a bunch of salary that they could move this summer, offload elsewhere, et cetera, et cetera. They also get picks for Zion, who I don't know how much he's worth at this point. Again,
I mean, it makes sense
yeah.
I mean, if there's any team that can revive him, it is Miami. They're going to get him on that 5% body fat or whatever the rule is they have down there. Jimmy gets to go leave, and the Warriors get their second star to put next to Curry, where it makes a little bit of sense, where Curry can play off the ball. Jimmy can play as the distributor at times. I think it works. The Pelicans get a couple guys in a different salary dump. What I will say, as you were talking about this, I was guessing your windy fingers might be something else. This is the craziest swing. It will not happen. And the stats don't really make sense either. But what if the Celtics got cold feet and they were like, what if we traded Drew for DeJounte?
No. I don't think DeJounte's anywhere close to the defender.
I don't think so either. That's where I was like, it doesn't really make sense.
Shooter, even though Drew's having a down year. Drew's having a down year, and he's still 5 percentage points better from behind the 3-point line as DeJounte.
Yeah, Murray is bad. He's at 26%. In his best career season he shot 39% as a rookie, but outside of that,
he shot all right last year, but
36 last year.
It's fine. I don't think they do it. I'd still rather have Drew, but I get it.
Me too, for what it's worth.
Speaking of Jimmy Butler, he's apparently going to test free agency no matter what happens. So if you trade for Jimmy Butler, know that.
Be there no matter what.
This is from the Hoop Collective. He has made it known to the league that he is not going to pick up that player option. That's what his intention is, says Windy. Does that definitely mean free agency, or does that just mean he's not picking up the player option? He is signing an extension, or
he is going to see what kind of money he can get. That was the consensus amongst everybody on there.
That makes a trade a lot harder for the Heat. I'll say that. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Good luck.
If I'm the Heat, I still consider trading him for whatever value because I don't know if he'll be back. I don't know. It's weird. I think the Jimmy era in Miami was a success regardless because they made 2 finals. They didn't win, but still pretty good. Probably better than a lot of people thought it would go. And I would just trade him for whatever you can get at this point. And I don't know what that is. And maybe it's less value than what I just outlined in that trade. And maybe you have to get just take Zion and Kuminga goes to the Pelicans and then that's their prize. I don't know. But it sounds like Miami's going to be in a tough spot.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Jimmy trade is tough. I think you have to be a desperate team. Maybe Philly gets desperate. Don't think so.
I don't think they're in that spot anymore. I think
that's the thing. Like Miami's almost hurting because Philly's so bad. Like I could see
Golden State could be desperate.
Yeah, they could become desperate. It makes sense, and I think the fit makes sense, which is the important thing for the actual team making the trade. Because if you decide you want to keep this guy, the fit has to make sense. I think his age makes sense in terms of Steph and Draymond. Like once that whole thing is done, they can kind of move on collectively, and then you can start from scratch or work around the guys that you already have. Like if you really end up being sold on Kuminga, which they just don't seem to be. If Pods finds his footing and continues to be solid and builds on what we saw last year from him, it makes sense. But I don't know. The Warriors are in a tough spot. Thought they were back. They look like they're dead. Maybe they'll be back again. Maybe they're on a roller coaster this year.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's weird. I don't know what team would want what. Maybe Dallas tries to get Jimmy and they say, hey, we like this. It's not perfect, but I do think it makes them better. because I think Jimmy has proved capable of being a lower tier option, and I think if he's winning, he is happy, and I think that's kind of just what Jimmy's about, which I respect. It's probably tough to get to that number because you got to clear a bunch of salary if you're those teams, but I do think it's at least enough to be intriguing if you're Dallas.
I'm not sold on the fit in Dallas. I don't think it makes them worse. I just don't think he works there. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Why?
You're gonna play him off the ball and have him catch and shoot.
I mean, it's more to that. Like sometimes, sure, but it's also catch the ball, make a play, then find somebody else as well. Like, yeah, he can catch and shoot sometimes. He's not the best 3-point shooter, but it's not like he's an awful 3-point shooter. I don't know what he's shooting this season. Maybe he's awful. He's 36% this season. He's fine.
Okay.
He's 41% last year, 35 the year before. He just doesn't take a lot. And I think having that level of creation, that level of defense, that level of intensity is worth more than whatever else is going on.
Depends what they want to do. If they want to gut their depth, if that's what it's going to cost to get him there, that adds into it too. I don't know if they have to do that with the expiring. Like, I think the contract makes it easier for Dallas to make the deal without having to like handicap themselves.
No, it'd be rough. I'm doing the math right now. They'd have to give up like somebody that they like a Najee
So
Marshall.
essentially, what they would do is do what they did to get Kyrie, and then they bring in Kyrie, and then they don't have anybody else to play, and the team peters out and it isn't very good. And they spend a year, 2 years getting supporting cast members. They still didn't have them even when they made the finals. Like, that team last year in the finals was rough. The Celtics could just kind of be like, go ahead, let him shoot. Like, go ahead, Luka, go ahead and pass it. And it didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not
the Celtics have
perfect.
the personnel to defend him too, to where they didn't have to overcommit and give these guys wide open looks, which is why they benefited early in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Could work, but
Yeah.
I'm skeptical of Jimmy there.
I get it. I think it'd be fine. But anyways, we can go to the rat list here. What do you have, Sam?
Rat list is I've become a pockets guy. So I'm gonna explain this. I am someone
I can't
who
change the background.
Okay.
It's not letting
You've
me.
lost background privileges for some
It
reason.
just
StreamYard has
sometimes it
decided
doesn't
Jack
work.
is not allowed to touch this anymore. I don't know why. But anyways, traditionally, throughout my life, I use 2 pockets, and they're both in my front. I keep my phone in one, I keep my wallet and my keys in the other. I have begun to utilize my back pockets. I've never been somebody to utilize my back pockets. The reason why I have done that is because it is easier for me to reach back and grab my phone from my back pocket for whatever reason, especially if I'm in the car. It's easier than trying to like get in while your pocket is like kind of closed off with your leg, because you're like your leg is folded where
But
your
wouldn't
pocket
your back
opening is.
pocket be
No,
closed
because
off
you just
by?
lean. You just lean and grab it.
Couldn't you
easy.
also just lean to the side in the
It's
same
hard.
way?
You gotta do all this. It's hard. But anyways, now I do this, and I put my phone in my back pocket, and I've had more, oh my God, I lost my phone moments than I've had in the last 5 years, probably in the last month.
Yeah, that's interesting. My dad was a big whenever he's in the car, he would just put his phone under his leg, like he just put
That's
it
what
on
I
the
do.
seat, right? And one time we were in Florida, and this was like years and years ago. So he had like a BlackBerry or like a flip phone, like it was an old one.
All right.
And some taxi driver, he was like talking to somebody at a light, and they like asked him like, "Hey, let me get your information." Like, well, I can like, I don't know what it was. And he leans out of the car, and the phone falls out of the car, and he lost the phone.
Oh my
And
God.
again, this was before iPhone, so it's not like it was like a BlackBerry or some shit, which was, I mean, it was a phone at the time,
The
but
time
it
was
was what it was.
premium.
And we went back to the intersection like a few days later, and we found the remnants of the phone,
Oh no.
like on the side of the road, like all fucked up. So that was entertaining. This isn't really ratless, but it's fun. I don't think you fully understood. I went to dinner last night, and it was Danny's turn to pick, and he picked this place called Fire and Ice in Boston. And I was
Okay.
trying to explain to Sam what it was, and it's effectively like a buffet / hibachi restaurant, and it was fucking awesome. It was so good. Like I highly recommend it to everybody. So I want to run you through exactly what it is, and with pictures and stuff. So, example, here you go. Can you take Matt off the screen?
Yes. I need to remember I'm on a different computer.
So this was it. So basically, you go to a buffet, right? You go pick a bunch of stuff. You put it in these little bowls. They give you a little metal bowl, and then you bring it over to the grill, and then they cook it. There's a food station and there's a sauce station. You bring both to the grill, and they'll cook it together. But they got everything. So my first trip up, I got salmon, I got shrimp, I got broccoli, onions, noodles, and scallions. Put it in the bowl. Got this like honey garlic sauce. Brought it up, cooked it for me. Great. Round 2, I go pasta. I go shaved steak that they had. I got shrimp as well because I like shrimp. I got it every time. Spoiler alert. And then I got what else I got? I got a little bit of onions. I got a little bit of other stuff, and I got olive oil, lemon, and garlic sauce. Go up, cook it in front of me. Third trip, classic. Just go teriyaki, noodles, shrimp, salmon again, broccoli, onion, everything. But they also got like they got chicken. They got like chipotle chicken. They got meatball, sausage. You can get hamburgers, hot dogs, whatever, like everything you can imagine. Let me see if I can find it. Menu. Not menu. I want like the ingredients they have. All ingredient options. Because they like when I say they got everything, these guys got everything.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's all you can eat within 2 hours, and it's $27.
It just sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, it's $27. So you can get however much you want in 2 hours, as many bowls. I got 3. Because then we got dessert, which wasn't included, but it was monkey bread and it was fire. But this place rocked. It was good, phenomenal deal, great food, tasted yummy, cooked it all up in front of you, and the whole night we had a bit. And my roommate Brian set the line going in. He goes over under 6 birthday celebrations while we're in there, right?
It's a good guess.
And so Mike, my other roommate, took the over. Brian took the under. And we're going throughout the night. We're going. Start off hot. We get like 4 within the first like 30, 40 minutes of being there of the 2 hours. Like we're like on pace to kill it. Half an hour goes by, 0. Because it's getting later, right? Our reservation was at 7, and by this time it's like 8 and no one's coming in. Start to trickle in a few more. We're at 5 with like 10 minutes left in our time. 6 hits. Gets there. And we're like, we're pushing. 5 minutes before we leave, you see the waiters start to crowd, go over to a table. They go, "We have a birthday." Over hits. Great end to the evening. Fire Nights was great. Danny picked a good place. Our friend Brittany's picking the next one, so we'll see what she can get done. But I feel bad because we had to all give our dates for when we're free in January, and I just sent this out the schedule because I play 16 times, and it's just bad.
I know. I'm trying to plan like a Secret Santa, or like I'm trying to be a part of a Secret Santa plan, and it usually happens in January for us because we just are lazy and we don't plan it accordingly during the holidays.
Sure.
It's tough. Very tough to find a day.
It's
17th and 18th back to back. Fucking brutal. I mean, we'll figure it out. I'm sure we'll figure it out, but very busy month, January.
Yep.
They play literally over half the days.
Yes.
With that being said, Rat List NBA University just put up this graphic of 5-man lineups with the most possessions played together so far this season, and it shows their net rating. So the top lineup in the NBA in terms of possessions is the Knicks, Brunson, Hart, Bridges, OG, and Towns at 6.6 net rating. Rockets, Van Vliet, Green, Dylan Brooks, Jabari Smith, and Şengün at 5.7 on 720 possessions. Timberwolves, Hawks, Pistons. Pistons are at 399 possessions with Cade, Ivy, Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias, and Jalen Duren. They're minus 4.9. It's a little mean to have them on the graphic. But then the Celtics are plus 20.9 with Drew, Derek, Jalen, Jason, and Al Horford.
It's pretty good.
So really mean to put the Pistons on here. That's why they're on the Rat List.
Yeah. Pistons, not very good. They're just not very good, man. I'm sorry. I hate to do it. They're not a good basketball team. I'll rat list myself. I did Christmas shopping too late, and a lot of my stuff's coming. I think most of it will get here in time, but some of it's coming too late, which is my own fault. So apologies. But yeah, it's tough.
The Pistons are only a half game out of the plan. Let's be serious.
That's
Play-in would be a
Well-
win for them. That was what I predicted
Yeah.
this year was the
what
play.
would they be in the Western Conference?
They would be bad. They would be above Portland. They would be 12th or 13th. They'd be 13th.
And how many games out of the play-in would they be in the West? A lot of games.
They would be
7, 8,
a lot.
6, a lot.
Yeah, it's not important.
Here, you want to do advent calendar?
Yeah, you didn't do it yesterday. You have 2 days to do.
I know, and this chocolate's falling out right here, and I don't know what day this
Cam
is.
asked me about it, and I was like, his calendar is cooked. Like,
It's so bad. I don't even know what day this is from.
okay.
But have I done? Did I even do the 14th? No, the 14th is still in here. It's the 16th. Shit. Okay.
Oh, because we didn't do a show Saturday, so that makes sense.
No, did I do the 13th? I had to. Yeah, I did the 13th. So 14th, as I drew in my head and was turning around down the chimney, St. Nicholas came with a bound. Merry Christmas, Mom. Thank you. Love you. What do you get? Do you want to guess, or are we over that?
We can guess.
Oh, it's so broken. It's so broken.
Okay, we'll not guess on that one then.
I mean, I can still kind of see what it was gonna be, but it's a Santa hat.
Okay.
Okay. All right. 15 says, okay, it's gone. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. It was a snowman head, but the chocolate
Okay.
is gone.
All
Is
right.
this it? No.
Okay.
No.
This advent calendar is a disaster.
It's bad. 16th today is there. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. I'm gonna guess a gift today. It's a present.
I'm gonna guess a boot, like boots.
What the fuck is this? Oh, it's a wreath.
This
It's
is
a
how it goes
wreath.
every time.
It's a wreath. It's a
I
wreath.
can see,
It's a wreath.
yes.
All right.
It's always we guess, and then you look at it, and you're like, "What the hell is this?"
It takes me a second. That's all I got, though. You got anything else?
I don't have anything else.
All right. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe here, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff. I can't change the background. I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you think. The advent calendar is it broken? Probably is. You can also leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell because we are here every single day doing new content. Full pods like this one drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps over the morning after each game, and other videos are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find us on Spotify and Apple as well. Jack said it. We're there with game recaps and pods. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very much. It helps us in the algorithm. Help us reach more people. Leave that 5-star review. Email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. You saw Phil, you saw RJ. Join them in the elite. Send an email, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's just the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is at Jack's1NBA. Mine is at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.